NXT has had a fantastic year in 2024 with some wonderful PLEs, some really good matches, and of course the ridiculous bollocks that its fanbase has come to love. Every year a handful of talent get to make the jump from NXT to the main roster of Raw and SmackDown, and here at the Aussie Cousins Wrestling Show, we're going to pick out who we think are the next in line. And if you love wrestling just as much as us, hit the subscribe button and let us know your thoughts on the NXT roster in the comments below. I'm Chris Apples, and here are 10 NXT superstars who can make the leap to the main roster in 2025. Now for this list, we're not going to include the likes of Zarya, Stephanie Vaquer, Julia and Ethan Page, as they could have quite easily debuted on the main roster. We want to see performance center prospects. And we are going to assume Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson are already up there, with their performances on the main roster already being really strong. Number 10, Duke Hudson. We wouldn't be an Australian wrestling show if we didn't include an Australian on this list. Duke Hudson is a fan favourite of the NXT universe, having started as a relatively bland gambling heel. Duke Hudson's run in Jacy University has elevated his status on the show. Duke has shown that he has great charisma on the mic, has a great sense of humour, and is more than a solid hand in the ring. And just wait until you see the hot tag that he possesses when he's waiting for his struggling teammate to slap his hand. Duke runs wild like no other in NXT, and he likes to do moves made famous by Trish Stratus, despite being a burly 6'5" Aussie. Number 9, Lola Vice. Lola Vice has a legitimate fighting background in MMA, having been undefeated in 5 matches before making the move to sports entertainment. Vice has been in a long feud with Jaida Parker, more on her soon, which has elevated both performers to the top of the fan favourite list on NXT. Even with the influx of experienced women's talent coming into NXT, Lola Vice has been a mainstay in big feuds and is the queen of the underground match, going 3-0 in that particular type. She also has a great finisher that looks like it knocks people out. Number 8, Andre Chase. Chase University has been a staple of NXT since the 2.0 days, and the leader of Chase U is the wonderfully talented Andre Chase. Chase had a long independent wrestling career prior to making it into the Performance Center, and is fundamentally one of the most accomplished wrestlers on that roster. With Rich Holland bringing the end of Chase University as we know it, that whole scene really did look like Mr. Chase saying his goodbyes to the NXT crowd, and we here at Aussie Cousins Wrestling Show hope he makes the move up to the main roster in 2025. Number 7, Jaida Parker. See, I told you we would get to Jaida Parker, and here at AC Dub, I don't lie to you. Jaida Parker oozes charisma and personality and has a chant all to herself in the NXT crowd. Jaida Parker's feud with Lola Vice has brought out some incredible talents both in the ring and on the mic that she clearly possesses, taking both of these ladies to the next level. Jaida's celebrations after hitting big moves always pump up the crowd, and I don't think it'll be too long before she's getting in front of the spotlight on the main roster. Number 6, Oba Femi. Oba Femi is booked in a title match with Trick Williams at New Year's Evil on the 7th of January, and there is every chance that he'll take over the mantle as the top star on NXT. Oba Femi won the Breakout tournament in 2023 and used that to take the North American title away from Dragon Lee. From then on, he went on a historic reign, being the longest ever champion of the belt before dropping the title to Tony D'Angelo. He's unfathomably big and strong, yet still has top-level agility and speed, which has wowed the NXT universe for the entirety of 2024. I don't think it's hyperbole to say that Oba Femi is a future WrestleMania main eventer. Number 5, Jacy Jayne. Save for an untimely injury in 2022, Jacy Jayne could have already been promoted to the main roster alongside her former tag team partner, Gigi Dolin, as part of Toxic Attraction. The breakup of the tag team is now the stuff of legends on NXT, thanks to a door that didn't move the way it was supposed to. But since then, Jacy Jayne has simply floated about the roster, often quite aimlessly. Now, as part of the strangely named Fatal Influence, she is playing the roster veteran and solid hand in the ring who can have a good match with just about anyone. If she's not going to be around the NXT Women's title picture, then a call up to the main roster is surely in her future. Number 4, Fraxiom. You might think we're cheating a little bit here putting in a 2-for-1 with the tag team of Nathan Frazer and Axiom, but put simply, they have been the best tag team in the world in 2024. They first won the tag team belts on the 9th of April NXT show in a very fun match against the Wolf Dogs of Bron Breakker and Baron Corbin. And from there on, they specialised in the most incredible, fast-paced, high-flying matches, with Nathan Frazer surely rivaling Breakker for the quickest man in wrestling. Axiom appears to be an up-and-coming wrestling genius, and the way he crafts his matches for long stretches in the ring is well beyond someone at the NXT level. Before we get to our top 3, we just need to name a few honourable mentions. On the men's side of things, both Wesley and Tony D'Angelo have had fantastic runs with the North American Championship, and both could easily see themselves up on the main roster within the next year. As for the women's roster, we could easily see the likes of Kalani Jordan, Sol Ruka, and Tatum Paxley making the move up, with all 3 wrestlers improving out of sight in 2024. If that progression continues, then we could see them up in the main roster in 2025 or perhaps 2026. Number 3, Fallon Henley. The current North American Women's Champion, Fallon Henley, is one of the most dependable women in the NXT roster. She spent a long time as a popular, wholesome babyface, and it was hard to see her acting in any other way. And then she turned heel for the first time after attacking another popular babyface, Thea Hale, in late April, and it took a while for her new character to click. But she has absolutely grown in the role the way the NXT booking loves for their characters to portray both sides of their gimmicks. Number 2, Trick Williams. At time of recording, Trick Williams is still the champion, and there have been rumours that he's going to be moving to SmackDown once the blue brand goes to 3 hours in 2025. While he's still not the greatest in the ring, he is more than capable of having good matches with more experienced wrestlers, and his work in multi-man matches, such as the 4-way title match at NXT Heatwave, are absolutely phenomenal at times. He's also going out to the main roster with name value, as the crowds already chant his name loudly when he makes his sporadic appearances on Raw and SmackDown. Number 1, Roxanne Perez. The NXT Women's Champion has held the championship for over 350 days across 2 separate reigns, including over 250 days in her current reign. And despite her young age, there is a very good reason why she's been given the belt for such a long stretch of time. While she does need to work on her promo game, her in-work is almost second to none on the NXT Women's roster. Her exchanges recently with experienced signings Julia and Stephanie Vaquer show that she is a step above the majority of the homegrown talent at the Performance Center, and if she drops the belt to the aforementioned Julia or Vaquer, expect her to be making her way up to the main roster shortly thereafter. If you think there are other wrestlers worthy of making the leap up from NXT to the main roster, please let us know in the comments below right after you've hit the subscribe button. Like the video and share it around with people who love wrestling just as much as we do. And while you're there, click on the video on screen now that will show you who we think are the breakout stars in WWE of 2024. And of course, we hope you guys have a wonderful day.